So for today's topic, I want to go over a story that actually took place a couple weeks ago. However, it caught my eye because I do believe it was an unfortunate reminder that while cruising is one of the most safest, if not the most safest form of vacation travel, we are all still living in the real world, no matter how many drink packages and excursions we decide to indulge in. And if you are a parent out there, you should definitely pay attention to this because this story is a reminder to all of you that you should always know where your kids are, even if you are on a cruise. This story involves Royal Caribbean, who I do want to make very clear had nothing to do with this in a negative way. Unfortunately, all this did take place on a Royal Caribbean cruise. Transmitted diseases, arrest, homeland security, and even ICE. It's an absolute mess, so make sure you guys stick around. So the way the story goes, you have two illegal immigrants from Mexico that happen to be sailing on board a Royal Caribbean cruise ship, Independence of the Seas to be specific, and they have since been arrested for doing some very disgusting things with a teenager on board this Royal Caribbean ship. Now, the two perpetrators that are involved in this horrific situation are 36-year-old Jose Diaz and 37-year-old Daniel Leal. Now, because of the policies and rules here on YouTube, I can't say exactly what has happened, but I think you get the idea. We have two adult people as well as a younger person. Very disgusting and honestly evil stuff. However, you do have the two that are seeing additional charges because it turns out that Diaz had HIV and he had, adult relations with somebody else while on board Independence of the Seas. Meanwhile, you had Leal that also is being charged with battery. As far as what led up to the arrest of these two, and thankfully so, you had a 14-year-old boy that was in the sauna on board Independence of the Seas when these two men decided to go into the sauna and they started doing things in front of this boy. They would then direct their attention toward him and make him do things, and at which point in time, well, at least eventually, we don't know if it was the CCTV footage that caught it or the boy said something after the fact, but they were eventually arrested while on board and of course detained until the authorities could get on board once the ship had docked over in its next port of call. After this event became public, you did have the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Christine Nome post about this incident over on X, stating that one of them has HIV, both have ICE detainers on them. We will get these sickos out of our country. Now, personally for me, I do believe that where these two individuals are from is pretty irrelevant because you have bad people, criminals literally everywhere all across the world, even here in the United States, believe it or not. But I do want to give all of you the most accurate details and information as possible in regards to this story. But the overall point that I want to bring up here is that even if you're on a cruise ship, and we do know that the cruise lines go out of their way to ensure the safety of all the guests and crew to the best of their ability, as we start rolling into summer, I do believe that one, there's going to be a lot of new cruisers. There's also going to be a lot of seasoned cruisers that maybe even get a little too comfortable. They know that the cruise lines are doing the best they can and a very good job at keeping everybody safe to the point to where they just let their children and teenagers run willy-nilly wherever it is that they see fit without knowing, of course, exactly where they are at all times, or at least having them come periodically check in with them to know where they were and where they are going to be in the next hour or two. All I'm saying is that this is indeed a crazy world that we live in. It doesn't matter if you are on land or sailing the seven seas. So you want to make sure you are keeping all of your family safe should you decide to go on a cruise, as you should. Make memories. However, make sure you are taking every single precaution possible. I've seen people use walkie-talkies, which I think is pretty cool. There are people that are using the messaging systems that are embedded in with the app, or oftentimes a lot of people find that they can use iMessage if they have iPhones, or if that's not the case, then maybe you can have meetup times. You let the kids go off for a couple hours and then maybe tell them to meet at a specific point at a certain time. Find out, of course, what it is that they're going to do next. And just like that, you will ensure the safety of everybody on board and, of course, have a smooth and memorable vacation. Anyway, that's my little PSA today. I do have another video coming out today, so make sure you keep an eye out. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as usual, I love and appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you later. Take it easy.